Christmas is right around the corner, and for all the woodworkers and project makers out there trying to think of ideas, here is one for you. This is a 2-day project that has great longevity and usefulness to those people in your gifting circle that make pizza or bread. It's a thoughtful gift that will carry memories far into the future every time those items get made. This pizza peel will be made for up to a 16-inch pizza and will finish out at a ½ inch thick. I start by slicing a couple 5/4 boards in half. I used a couple cherry pieces and one sapele for some contrast. My center board is cherry and is 28 inches long and 4½ inches wide, while the side pieces are cut to 18 inches long. Now that I have my pieces cut to rough length and width, I lay them out in the orientation that I want them to be in for the finished product. I mark out the location and orientation using a large triangle for the face and edges. I decided to joint each edge by folding the backs of each pair of boards together. When I plane them, the joint will be perfectly matched since they are planed together in the same pass. Now that the edges are all jointed, it's time for glue up. I'm going to glue each piece individually, allowing the center seam alignments to vary up and down so that each slice is not forced to conform. The peel will be more stable if the wood isn't fighting itself over the life of the finished product. Now it's day number 2 and the glue has dried. I use a scrub plane to do the initial work and rough shaping. A scrub plane is used for aggressive stock removal and is generally run across the grain. The plane iron on a scrub plane is curved or arched so that the corners don't grab. This leaves a noticeably scalloped cut in the wood. Once the rough work is done, a jack plane can be used with the grain to smooth out the scallops and leave a nice finished surface. I really had a tough time trying to hold down my work in such a way that I could get as aggressive with my scrub plane as I wanted to. I ended up clamping a couple pieces of wood to the backside of my bench, as well as using a scrap with my holdfast to act as my plane stops. Now that I have finished scrub planing on both sides, I can mark out my handle based upon the center of the peel. I am just using a 2x4, which will give me a 1.5-inch wide handle. Also, if you look closely, you may be able to pick up the scalloped tool marks going across the grain left by the scrub plane. I tried to use a shoestring to draw the radius that I wanted on the front edge of the peel, but when I finished, it appeared to be off on one side compared to the other. I ended up using the scrap from one half to draw the line for the other. When I was editing this, I thought I was going to hit the front of my bench with my jigsaw. Even though it happened in the past and I know what I did, I still thought it. Back to the scrub plane, I just take a rough pass from my 2-inch line down to the edge. Once I move to the finish cut with the jack plane, I make a secondary bevel, about 3/4 from the edge. This double bevel gives the front edge just a bit more strength, but it's thin enough to not get caught on the edge of a pizza. One side ended up finishing just a bit thicker than the other side, so a few more passes with the scrub plane will even that out for me. Smoothing it all out with a jack plane sanding, and then some mineral oil to finish it all out.